Hey everybody, how are you? I miss you guys so much. I figured I'd give you a video message today to kind of explain everything. Since I colored my hair, I'm good to go. Um, I hope you guys are all well. We're going to take a little break from peer editing this week. It doesn't seem like it's working so well. I think a lot of you aren't there. Some of you have been really doing the peer editing and you've been doing a really nice job on it. Your comments are spot on. But it's not really fair that some of you are doing it and some are not. I totally get that this whole Corona thing has put everybody's schedules off whack, probably your motivation too. But I need you guys to get back on track this week. The administration would like us to give assignments after this week on certain days, and my day is Wednesday. So I'm going to start to get us on a Wednesday to Wednesday kind of work thing. So you have until Wednesday morning or Tuesday night, next Tuesday night, so you have a little bit longer than a week, to get this done. And I really need you to get it done. By the end of this time period, you need to have a really, really good working draft with all of your comments resolved. And I mean all. The cleaner the draft, the better. If you have time to get rid of the underlining and the highlighting, get rid of all of that. You should have a excellent working draft from intro all the way through conclusion. You should have your references in order, and you should have your appendices. Okay? This week, I'm giving you some feedback on the final components. You could see my general feedback that I typed out. It's a document below. But I think it's really a good idea if you watch this Building Your Argument for New Understanding. This is College Board's version of what's expected in the results, the discussion, and the conclusion of your paper. Okay? All right, so here's my general feedback. This is attached below. Here's a link to that video I was just telling you about. Here's a link to our AP Research, webpage. So there's a bunch of more resources there. Hopefully you won't need it after all of this. What you need in your discussion or analysis, use one or the other, you don't use both. And then your conclusion, which includes future directions. You don't need to label that though. So basically you're going to have your discussion labeled and your conclusion labeled. Use whatever words, headings, other studies within your discipline you use, okay? So you need a clear line of reasoning for your new understanding. If you remember in your lit review, you had a line of reasoning, an argument, where you had claims and evidence support those claims to make a case for your gap. Well, this time, in your discussion section, again, you are making an argument for your new understanding. Okay? So again, you're going to have claims. Within those claims, you're going to have evidence. After your evidence or within your evidence, you're going to have your own analysis or summary, okay, your own commentary, and then you're going to transition to the next paragraph or the next claim. Each of those paragraphs should have a clear topic sentence, evidence, your own summary or analysis, and then a transition. Make sure you have that throughout your whole paper. Okay? This is the College Board line on the rubric, row on the rubric for this part of the paper. Okay? You'll often notice that in papers, people organize these last sections in different ways. Sometimes the results is part of that last section. But usually in APA, that's its own separate place, its own separate. Usually there is a discussion section, and within that discussion section, what I've seen an awful lot is you would have your line of reasoning to your new understanding. You would have your limitations also in that. And then usually the conclusion would have the implications and future directions. That's usually what I've seen. These three links here are links to past student writing from College Board, and they'll kind of show you how everything was organized and the kinds of things that past students have written. So take a look at those. because you might get some ideas for your paper and you kind of see how other people have organized these last few sections. There's no one right way. It's whatever works for your paper. Just make sure you have all of these things should be in those last sections. Okay, we worked on results last week, your discussion, and your conclusion. Okay, here I kind of put some specific things that you should think about in your discussion section, some things to think about for your limitations, same thing for your implications, which, like I said, is I've seen it often part of the conclusion, but not always, and then some things to put in your conclusion future directions. So again, limitations is sometimes part of the discussion, and implications are often, oops, didn't spell that right, and implications are often part of the conclusion. So feel free to move those around, though, whatever works for you. Okay, so really, really work on perfecting this part of your paper. This is major. And work on resolving all of those, comments. Okay. I also put in here, for those of you who are ready, because some of you are ahead, you might do number 4 and 5 this week also, which is to watch that AP research checking your alignment and your line of reasoning. This is pretty good. I especially like the time from 7:50 to 14:15, which talks about reverse outlining. I really would like you to go through this. I think it would be a valuable activity for you to pretty much write down the topic sentence of every paragraph in your paper and then look at it carefully and see if it logically builds your argument for your gap. See if your method section, if you cover everything you need to. In that method section, make sure that you're always tying it back to your research question and explaining how it answers your research question, and you're justifying every choice that you made. Why did you make this choice as opposed to something else? And then, of course, in your results, are your results, do they tie back to your research question as well, what you're reporting out on? And then your discussion analysis should also inform your research question or refer back to it, and your conclusion as well. Everything always goes back to that research question. So really double check that. That's checking your alignment. Okay? So by the 28th, this definitely needs to be done. A completed paper, it's clean, all comments resolved. Okay, this is going to be a project grade. And we were informed that starting this week, we could start assigning numerical grades. So I'm hoping this is going to motivate some of you to really get this done. Okay? The reverse outline is not going to be required this week, but if you have time, because some of you are a lot further along than others, do that and double and check that alignment. Make sure everything refers back to your research question. Okay? I changed our timeline a little bit. So we're going through to next Wednesday for this clean draft. Next week, we're going to look at the reverse outline and fine-tuning. I might stick a peer review in there. I think we need to do one more peer review. And then we're going to look at making sure everything's in APA format, and that you have, we'll kind of run your paper through Turnitin to make sure that there's no plagiarized parts. If you forgot to quote something or forgot to cite something. This is its own part of the rubric, the APA format. So if you make a lot of mistakes on that, your paper is automatically going to be bumped down to a 3 or a 2 if you make tons of mistakes. So we want that to be in good shape. Your abstract is going to be optional. And I figured these 2 weeks are kind of light because I know a lot of you are doing other AP tests. So I'm kind of keeping those light and kind of mindless. And then this week, we need to start submitting it to College Board. And I'm going to try to do that as a video conference altogether because there's a bunch of steps that you need to do. So hopefully we could kind of work that through. All right. But you guys have to work hard this week and get it done. All right. I really, really want you to put the time in. Okay, I totally get it though. If some of you, if you have other things require things with your family, but do your best to get as much done as possible. Okay, I will tell you here on the office hours document, which I've linked at the bottom of Classroom, I put a link up here at the top, which is a video conference link. I thought this might be a good idea. And I'll kind of be hovering out on this Google Meet from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock every weekday. I'm going to have my video off and my microphone off, so if you decide to join me for a video conference, make sure you say hello, and I'll turn on my microphone and my my video camera. If you prefer, you could type your question in here, and I'll answer it, and you could always email me still. I would love to, once you guys are in a good place, I would love to video conference with you on your paper alone if you'd like me to. We could set that up. For the most part, I've gotten through everyone's papers from start to finish. It takes me about 2 hours to get through one paper, so that's why it's taken me so long. Right after this, I'm going to do a little karaoke with my family, and then I'm going to do Ryan's paper, and I drank coffee, so I should be okay to do Will's paper as well. Those are the only two I have left, and if I don't do it tonight, I'm going to do it first thing tomorrow morning. I guess that's it. So if you want to talk to me from 2 to 3 o'clock one of these days, click on this link. I'm here to help. Get this done. You guys got it. Okay. Miss you guys. Bye-bye.